it's not the same as a Manta, whereas because the Manta you blink on them, and all your illusions whack them, and they have 0 mana, and you ultimately die.
Right, you get like at least 2 rounds of attacks off instantly after
whereas
the blink.
Disruption is like if they're standing there after 2.5 seconds, there's something else going on.
They're probably killing your whole team while that's happening. Miracle, what do you go for here? Do you just try and rush the Manta style?
I think he has to get the Manta just because the Queen of Pain has that Orchid. But ideally, like, he would sort of need something to split push harder, like a Vlad's. But I think he has to go Manta.
Well, LGD is going to go into Roche. They actually have decent vision. They have got an Observer Ward in the middle lane, an Observer Ward in the bottom lane. Sorry, not even decent. Scratch that. Fantastic vision as I actually look at the wards a little more carefully. And they're going to work on the Roche. Nothing First Departure can do except try and trade. They'll push out top lane. They'll farm their jungle.
They're taking Roshan, and they're confident enough that the Queen of Pain can TP top. Like, the furthest tower away from Roshan.
And denies the tower.
And
that's
to get the tower
that's just salt in the wound.
And
Give
DK...
Aegis to Sylar. I don't feel this is the best hero to carry it.
I agree with that. DK, he's not a good Aegis holder. He dies his dragon forms out. Whereas
he's a completely different hero nowadays because he has a ranged stun when he's in dragon form.
His dragon form is just so important. And whereas Lifestealer, he dies, he comes back, he kills you because he's Lifestealer.
Yeah, I mean, even someone like the Queen of Pain, now she can jump in freely and not worry if she dies. And
I mean, Queen of Pain did TP out there.
Right.
I think you're right. I would have preferred on Queen of Pain over anyone. If Queen of Pain can jump in freely with a Nyx inside her, everyone dies. Like
everyone, like the life stealers, really shouldn't be dying. I feel
everything LGD does, everyone just dies.
At this point, it kind of feels like it. It's just death, destruction. I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like I'm watching a horrible war movie right now.
And DK has a BKB and a haste.
We're just
they might try to go for a base push with this haste, pops a BKB, pops a haste, and just kill someone.
We're about to see Speedy Gonzalez.
I like his build this game. He went for more in stats because that way it's easier to break the base. Actually, I don't. Maybe it's because he felt he didn't need the lockdown since he had an Orchid. So.
Well, at the rate that Miracle's farming, they still have a good 2 minutes at least.
He's
maybe
definitely
3.
going to max the stun in time for when he thinks he needs it.
Well, I imagine he's going to wait 2 levels at least because you want to have that level 16 dragon.
Yes, you do, for sure.
And finally, your 25-minute Blink Dagger. Maybe a ray of hope for Armageddon First Departure, but I say a ray, and it really is a very thin ray right now. As long as LGD executes properly in this push, and is it time to go now? Is there anything they're waiting for? That's the question.
If they get a 3-man RP on the Bane plus 2 of the cores, like the Nax Quap Bane or something like that, and the Anti-Mage gets that cleave off, they can take a team fight, but even if they do take one team fight, they need to win like 2 team fights right now.
Shao-Ei's got a BKB. I just want to point out that they basically have their entire team magic immune on all 3 cores. Rage, the double BKB. There is RP. We'll see if it gets off in time. The push, the siege now commences. Top lane, it's Miracle split pushing for all he's worth. I have seen this guy win some ridiculous games just by split pushing.
He needs to keep going,
but it's a tall order. Yeah. Here you go. They're going to go in for round 2. They do have double Troll Warlords. That could be huge to keep the Lifestealer locked in position. Same for the other BKB heroes, assuming they stay alive, which is another question entirely. The tower dropping fast. Miracle is continuing to split push. They're going to infest bomb.
Okay.
Here we go.
They were just looking for the infest bomb on the anti-mage.
Miracle's playing safe.
Smart.
Playing safe. They're off the map. He'll back off, but he's not going to go TP back. I love this decision. If he TP's back, LGD are just going to say, great, you're not
This
farming.
is very, very smart play. If he TP's back, nothing stops LGD from barreling down that tower, taking the racks.
And they're going to work on the tower. Will even be denied by Hana. The small victories right now. That's what it's all about for Armageddon First Departure. Here comes your TP back from Shao-Eight. Miracle's done it. He's stalled the game out a little bit longer. He'll have at least another 2 to 3 minutes to farm. And that should be enough to get his Manta style.
The one thing that LGD did do that I really like is that they have a gem. I really like it when teams are ahead and they just get a gem. Shut down all the map control.
Yeah, something we didn't really see as much of in the Rattlesnake First Departure series. We did see gems, but not incredibly early. This one's pretty damn fast from LGD.
It's good. It's really good. And they're 4-man smoked sitting behind an anti-mage. It's getting a bit desperate.
Well, yeah, nobody's getting levels or farm right now.
But hey, it might work out for it. Whoa.
Blink in, there's your Queen of Pain ultimate RP as well. Catches out too, but Yao still at full HP. He's man fighting through the Dark Troll Warlord nets. They've both been used. He's able to get away. They did lose their Queen of Pain for that 5-man bait. For his trouble, Yao will be brought down to below half HP. So all things considered, not a bad fight. But imagine if Queen of Pain at the Aegis there. I feel that's completely different.
That went really well for them. I didn't actually expect him to just go on him there. But I guess he had the ward there. That's what made him so confident. So that smoke is actually very smart. I was sort of not sure about it.
That's so big. Miracle's he's easily gonna have his Manta style before this push comes.
He
and
is.
I mean, it wastes precious Aegis time. The Aegis doesn't have much longer left. It's got what, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes? Not too long at that.
It's really unfortunate Queen of Pain didn't have buyout there, because if he had buyout, he could just bot out and they take those bot racks. No
right.
RP.
There's no RP. There's no Hand of God. That's racks. And they might get it anyway with another double. This guy literally runs a double damager in Factory. My goodness. Another one for him. He will be driven back for the time being. Was disrupted, but he'll start to work on the towers now. Again, no RP. It's cooling down, chipping away. Slowly but surely. Actually, not so slowly now. That's a decent amount of attack speed. He's going to kill off the creeps. Look at that splash. Scripted taking a ton of physical harass. He will be driven back. TP home for Miracle. He's got the Manta style. Now's your time. Now's your play. Xiaowei is rushing to join the fight. Will he get here in time? It looks like he will barely do so. He's also level 16, has his level 3 ult. They're going to immediately infest him. Waste no time. Get in there, Sylar. It's your time. It's your place. He wants to stun. Where's the sentry ward? They don't actually have one. They're able to get in close onto Lubby. There's your stun. Dropping him low. He's sent back. He will live. Queen of Pain ult was thrown out. Sylar actually finishes him at the fountain. I'm a little confused about that, but either way, they take the racks. LGD take 1 lane of racks. They get out. They don't lose a thing. Xiaowei got there just in the nick of time. And how the hell did that Shadow Demon die?
Chen doesn't destroy anything with his send back.
So I guess the auto attack just followed in the fountain.
That DK last hit did a ridiculous amount of damage to him because he had a good chunk of health left on his health bar, but I guess since he probably has like, what, 700 HP?
Yeah.
Oh, 800. Whoa, 800. Okay.
Yeah, he was sitting at like maybe a third HP.
He has a gem now. So.
Well, gem on DD, gem on Lubby. So they want to try and keep this. And that was a great way to start the fight. There was no sentry ward. He's actually going to blow his Aegis to neutrals, but I feel if they had a sentry ward there, fight would have gone a lot better for them. But I guess it got dewarded.
Would have. I mean, yeah, they did have a gem, and I like this gem pick. Actually, I just really like both the gem picks by team. Like, LGD did it so they can sort of enforce.
Oh my goodness, Poisson trying to make a play. Blinks in an RP's a Queen of Pain illusion. That's gonna hurt. Is this where LGD says, okay, time to take a second lane of racks?
I think you sort of, I think they will.
I feel like you just have to be more patient with that RP, because even if you get the Queen of Pain there, is it worth it? Xiaowei probably is buyback after taking that.
It's so hard to play the Meg right now because they can't really pick anyone off without the solo RP. And if he solo RP someone who has buyback, what if they just buyback and push your base?
Yeah, that's what I was saying is I would have assumed Xiaowei did buyback after taking racks. He actually didn't, but it's hard for them to know that. He's going to get caught now.
In a bad spot.
Oh no,
oh,
he's going to be open wounds as well. The send back, not even needed. He'll be able to scurry away to safety, but now the push comes. Still no level 16 on Sylar. The one thing First Departure does seem to be lacking is that Frost Dragon, but they'll go in anyway. Yao, he's up to 2.5k. Nobody's spending their gold. It seems like a lot of them are hell-bent on saving for buyback now. They're working on the tower. While this is happening, Miracle takes a tier 1 bottom, but they need more than a tier 1 because they are about to lose a tier 3 mid. That could spell doom if it happens. If it comes to pass, Xiaowei is wrapping around through the bottom lane looking for an initiation. He won't find it yet, but you do have that sense that he's just waiting for the moment to strike, and strike he will soon enough, I feel.
There's still 30 seconds on RP here.
It's going to be tough. Even if the RP comes out, it might be too late. The blink in, they catch out Hana. The BKB is thrown out. He's tanky as hell, but he will go down. That is a very, very tanky Mage. He buys back immediately. Sylar is man fighting and trying to kill Lubby, who wands up at the last moment, will live. They haven't gotten the racks yet, although they've taken the tier 3, and LGD are going to slowly but surely chip away at it. They back off. RP's cooling down, 8 seconds, even less than that. Miracle now up to 1,400 gold. Look for the Empower, look for the AoE. They'll back off. LGD, I think just the perfect time to do it. Get the tower, get out, be safe.
It's just a smart play all around. It's very safe. And bot lane's pushing in, like, all they really have to do is they can wait, they can farm this game out. They have a Tricore, and the other team has an anti-mage.
And the supporting cast doesn't scale well. Skywrath Mage does nothing against BKB heroes. Yeah. You look at a Magnus, does nothing against the Orchid.
He's good, but
this is where he really starts to drop off.
I mean, he needs a BKB now, and he's very far from that.
And I mean, even then, who's he going to kill? He's not going to kill a Dragon Knight with a BKB.
He needs a, like, the one thing they do have going for them is that Dragon Knight is sort of like, he's really tanky, but he doesn't have like the high strength growth. It's under 3, I think, 2.8.
Yeah, you normally just build tanky items.
He sort of builds really tanky, and he's tanky because of armor, but Cleave ignores armor. That's one thing they do have going for them. That Anti-Mage is going to be hitting for 85% cleave, which is probably going to do like, what, double his normal attack damage on the Dragonite?
Yeah, that could hurt. Also, a big Mana Void could be a difference maker. Maybe Xiao 8 gets caught out and turns into a Time Bomb working against his team.
I mean,
there's always the hope
yeah.
for Armageddon First Departure, but it feels bleak. 20,000, the gold graph just refuses to dip anyway. It keeps on going up. Experience 10,000 as well, and here comes what could be the death push. LGD or LGD China, they want to end this game now.
It's scary because Miracle has been split pushing for its life, but he can't even increase the
It was just
GPM.
such a bad start. I feel if it was a little bit closer, it would have been a lot different. They're going to work on the tower now, or the racks, I should say, the tier 3. Starting to drop pretty quickly. Blink and RP catches Magnus as well as that supportless rack. Out comes the Life Stealer. It's a party in the Armageddon First Departure base. Hana on the run. Poisson 2. They've brought down the Chen. Now, going to go to work on Miracle. If he dies, that might be the end. He does have a buyback. He'll buy back now, but he comes back with no Mantis Style. They're actually chasing for kills, not focusing the racks. Maybe they don't need to. Quita Pain ult from Xiao Wei slices apart Paulson. He jumps in. Miracle wants to make a play. Drops the Mana Void. Won't be enough. That hero had plenty of mana, and now he'll go down. That Dragon Tail still level 1. Still more than enough to kill off the
has
Anti-Mage.
a lot of poison charges.
And by the way, Yao completely missed that last kill, is diving the fountain. LGD are marching to a very... I mean, this is where you cue up the Imperial March music.
That's just mean.
This is just cruel and unusual punishment. Game 1 in the books. Armageddon First Departure, they make it official. They're going to tap out and call GG. LGD outplayed them from start to finish. If you look back at this game, AUI, I kind of felt like it was the lanes and the draft. There were some things they could have done differently, but it was always going to be an uphill battle.
I really like the draft coming out of LGD. Just being able to put, like, completely win your short lane in a 1v1 situation and break even sort of in mid is always going to put you at an advantage unless your trialing gets killed. And their trialing, not only did it not get killed, it shut down the Anti-Mage.
And it was not only were they winning that 1v1 bottom lane, it was their key initiator. That's the Magnus. They can't fight without him.
They can't fight without him. And even they shut down the Chen in the tri lane just
because he decided to come to the trial.
And he had to.
Yeah.
So just by merit of them 3 heroes standing there, they shut down all 3 heroes of First Departure.
What a beatdown. Game 1 firmly in LGD China's favor, but it's only 1 win. Perhaps First Departure can come back. I did feel like they made some decent decisions as a team. I thought it was much more just the way the draft started and how the lanes developed. And I felt like a few small mistakes just snowballed very easily because of that draft.
It really did. The LGD draft really was set up for that, though. It was really like, if we get a lead, you're not winning. Because even if the game was sort of even, if this goes to 60 minutes,
they have 3 carries.
Dragonite, Lifesteal, Queen Pain, it's good. And then they have a Bane, which
Right.
makes it even better. I mean, Shadow Demon, yeah, he scales well, but Bane scales really well too.
The other thing was, I felt they were a bit lacking on a proper lockdown. You have 2 BKBs and a Life Stealer, and you have RP and Demonic Purge. Demonic Purge isn't really a full solution for any of those heroes, especially not a race car Life Stealer.
Yeah, it helps, but it's really not enough. I mean,
it was just too much pressure on the Mag at that point in the game.
There really was. They're counting on the Meg to get really good RPs throughout the mid game, but there's no way he could have got that Blink Dagger. Like, he played it pretty much as well as you could expect, I think.
I thought maybe if there was some big plays from the Chen, they could have done better in the laning stage. I thought Magnus did as well as he could in the off lane. The middle lane was decent for Skywrath Mage. He was farming well, shut down the DK to some extent. I mean, didn't really win the lane that convincingly.
DK, Meg mid,
yeah,
they get farm.
Yeah. So in the end, game 1 in the books, LGD China, they take it easily. But it is a best of 3. We'll head to game 2 soon. Before we do that, let's throw it over to Gods and see what he thinks. I forget who we have on the panel. It's Blitz. I'm tired, guys.
It's been a long first day here. I'm excited. We've had our studio unveiling and everything has gone pretty much great so far. I hope you guys are enjoying. But that game there, LGD, I feel like we've seen 3 different LGDs today. The first game against Dreamz, it was a kind of scrappy, not so sure of themselves LGD. The second game was just this completely stomp on your face, into the ground kind of LGD. That game was your like methodical LGD. They got their lead. They just kept getting further and further ahead until their lead was just too big and they just broke down your axes.
Yeah, they really demonstrated that they can play every single avenue of the game. They did late game first, then they did an early game setup, and then now they just kind of played this mid game. And what I really liked about LGD is they actually timed out the Roshes perfectly. So they would take a tower, or they would take a Rax, and then right when the Aegis was about to fade, they would back up. And they were always consistent about backing when they knew cooldowns were up as well. Like, I think I saw twice the Mag's ult just came out as they left the base. And so they never gave First Departure an opportunity to come back into the game. Secondly, as they stated, the Chen wasn't able to get anything going. He had to get a tornado creep early, meaning that at an early level he wasn't able to rotate at all because he needed that tornado creep to put pressure in the lane. But it means that he's not going to get any sort of levels, and he's not going to pick up any farm. And then from there, the game just sort of snowballed where LGD was able to kind of exploit their short lane really hard, get the Orchid really quickly, and just kind of methodically take them down.
Yeah, I think the draft from LGD was really smart. Picking up the lifestealer first, I think it's something you just can't do against these Chinese teams. They run these offensive lifestealer trial lanes so well, and then on top of that, first departure pick a Chen. I don't think you want to be running a jungle hero when you know there's a very high chance of an offensive trial against you, because Chen, he wants his levels. He wants us in the jungle. He doesn't want to be ganking at level 1, level 2 with a creep. So that sort of gave him some really strong weaknesses in their safe lane. The off lane, Mag against Queen of Pain, was obviously not going to go too well. Mid lane was the one lane which kind of maybe, at best, has a slight edge, but in reality it kind of broke even. So LGD just had the stronger 3 lanes. They got the early lead, they snowballed. That's what LGD kind of do best almost, and there was no coming back.
You know, I actually want to jump in here because we're going to see Alliance going to the G1 League LAN Finals very soon, and they love to run Chen against aggressive tri-lanes and use him with something like a Windrunner, a strong laning support, to just basically put a lot of pressure on the enemy tri-lane. And it seems like in a lot of cases they can actually dominate strong tri-lanes like that. So, AI, I mean, do you think it's just something you can't do, or is it possible if you execute it well enough? Like, do you think the Alliance style could work against these Chinese teams?
I think Enchantress is sort of an auto win if they aggressive trial lane and you have a dual lane person with Chanty in most situations if you play it right. Chen is a bit more iffy. If they can get in toward your jungle, it's a lot harder. What happened in this game is that if you look at the level 1s of the heroes, LGD's level 1 was like 2 leagues above FD's level 1. So they could just go into the jungle, just ward anything they wanted. So that sort of made it so hard. I also think Chen, he's okay. Level 1, you have a creep,
Right.
Sure. Level 2, you have like a Neok. Level 3 is really where Chen begins to be a threat in the ganks. I really do think that the Chen should have sort of let the Anti-Mage sack a bit more, because it doesn't matter if you miss like 10 CS at the beginning, you're going to cash that up later.
If you have the lane to yourself.
Yeah, and if you get a kill, that's way better than like 20 CS, because EXP early game is way more important than gold. Like, so much more important.
I just wanted to take us on a little side road because I'm personally interested to see how that kind of style works against the Chinese teams. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. In the end, LGD took the game, and I mean, like you guys said, they snowballed. It was convincing from the start. What are we going to see going into game 2?
I think we're going to see a Lifestealer ban. I think that's one thing that we're going to see.
Why don't we always see this hero ban? I feel like he's just... Don't give him away. Not in Asian Dota.
He is really strong.
He always seems to win in Asian Dota.
I feel like he can get shut down if you have the right heroes, but he is sort of ridiculous just because any team that can sort of rotate their supports to match your tri lane without having to rotate their farmer in their lane just makes their lane so strong. If you can run something like, say, a hero that can solo when you leave it, Lifestealer, Weaver, Queen of Pain, and rotate your supports around to match their tri lane when you have a stronger matchup, you win the laning phase. And in this metagame, you win the laning phase unless they have like Darkseer, Magnus, Enigma, you win the game, pretty much. Or a big mistake, but yeah.
Or you could ban him. That's the other
Or
option.
you can ban him.
Gods, your thoughts?
I concur.
With what? Banning Lifestealer?
Banning Lifestealer.
Or he can be beaten.
Broken hero. Ice Rogue, please nerf. I shouldn't be saying that since Valve hired us to this event. They made a fantastic, perfectly balanced game, which we all love and play.
We're not being paid for these
10+.
messages. It's just our authentic beliefs.
On that note, we'll take a quick commercial break and then be back with game 2.
I've seen goes far beyond today. Go, my sweet sisters, go! Go, my little ladies. Go, my sweet sisters, go! Be still.
The dragon comes for war. The world shall end in fire.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of LGD China versus First Departure. It's our final match of the first day of the International 3 East qualifiers. There's a trip to Seattle on the lines for 2 teams. We'll know who those teams are in 10 days' time. But for the time being, it's all about LGD versus First Departure. This one a best of 3, LGD leading that set 1-0, and rather convincingly at that. I'm LD, he's AUI. How you doing?
I'm good. LGD's looking really, really, really well. I'm actually very excited to watch them play because I'm actually learning a lot just from watching their movement. The Chinese teams, like the top ones, they just move so like neatly. Like it's so precise. They go somewhere, they get something, and then they go somewhere else, and the creeps are just like waiting for them to farm. I love that.
I'm actually not learning anything.
Oh,
I already knew all this stuff.
yeah. Well, it's okay. Sometimes, you know.
I mean, I could teach them a thing or two if they would just let me play a game.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put me in, coach. Shall it, you're my idol. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see how they, go shopping, because clearly with this level of efficiency in-game, they could get a lot of my errands done in short order, so I may look to hire them out. But with that being said, on a serious note, are they going to get Wisp? Maybe that's their shot. I feel like you just ban it again if you're LGD.
I think they ban it. I think maybe even LGD's confident against the Leicester. I have this feeling that like some of the Chinese teams or some of the teams in general, they have a pocket strat against Lifestealer that we haven't really seen yet. Maybe we have seen it as just like a Clockwork Bane or something to shut him down. But I still feel like if you have something specifically prepared for him, he might be dealable. But Race Card Nax, pretty hard.
I feel like if they had gone for the Bane in the first 2 picks, which you see some of the Russian teams will do, where they'll go like Mag Bane or Clockwork Bane, you see Liquid will sometimes do that as well. I think you can deal with him, or at least you have a much greater potential to do so, but they definitely were not prepared for that Lifestealer. He wasn't the only issue, but he was a big part of it.
It's just they couldn't rotate on top at all.
Right.
Like that top lane was invulnerable.
Well, let's see if their top lane's invulnerable this game. We're ready to get into Game 2, LGD China versus First Departure. Take it away, Kawa. Already on it. Look at this guy. It's 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. He's going strong. It's Game 2. First Departure, they're going to ban out a Lifestealer. And, well, they don't want to deal with it. LGD says, no Wisp for you, man. You're going to have to do this the hard way. And what's it going to be? That's the question.
Surprised First Departure just banned out the Lifestealer just like that when their first pick. I thought Chinese teams really like Lifestealer, and they just always try to pick them up. But
it's not something I've seen First Departure play a whole lot of. I mean, I'm sure Miracle has played some Lifestealer, and I know I've seen him played a lot in pubs, but it doesn't really seem to suit their normal style. We saw that CK Wisp as kind of a pocket strategy from them, but their standard style, and what I've seen, just my personal casting of them, I'd say probably 10 out of 12 games is 4 Protect 1, and a very standard 4 Protect 1 with either a Naga, an Anti-Mage, or something like a Lone Druid as the hard carry.
So there's the Meg again if they want to grab that. I think they really favor that hero.
It didn't work for them last game, but that was an off-lane Mag against the Queen of Pain. You put it mid,
yeah,
you
you need to put him in a better position than that. Yeah. if
Give the Mag some love. He's an ugly beast anyway.
He needs some early mid-game farm at the very least, and levels are just good on him. RP scales well, the cooldown goes down, it lasts longer, and empowers obviously. Good. Oh, and Nyx.
Now to be fair, levels are generally good on most heroes, or so I've been told by Ice Frog.
Yeah, I mean,
Better than not having
some
levels.
heroes like Venomancer, you hit 7, you.
Yeah, and then you if you get levels, like you lose the game. You just have to stay at 7.
You see, when you get levels, you take longer to respawn.
Yeah.
So
that's why when I'm feeding constantly, I'm like
if we were
very
to play a
strategic
pub,
play.
you would just stay level 7 on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job.
You're creating space.
I'm creating space. I'm creating a buffet for the enemy team. That's what I'm doing. Nyx Assassin the choice for First Departure. So a first pick Nyx. I almost want to say we didn't see him picked or banned in that last game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he seems to be largely getting ignored. Occasionally comes out. For the most part, hasn't been a priority pick, and LGD are the ones who are going to go. They're going to bring in the closer here. This is where you take your 9th inning pitcher and you say, okay, go win us the game. They're going to bring him in now. The Anti-Mage comes out for Sylar. They'll go for the Shadow Demon as well, and they're going to show First Departure how to execute an Anti-Mage correctly, or at least that's what LGD is thinking.
And I think, see, Nyx either has to go in the tri lane or mid, sort of. Those are really his 2 roles. He's not, I mean, you can put him in sack lane. I don't really like him in that. Actually, but if you pick the Anti-Mage against the Nyx, it's sort of forcing him to go mid if they want aggressive versus the Anti-Mage, because you can't really Nyx aggressive versus the Anti-Mage. You're just not going to do anything.
So what do you think they're going to do here with the Gyrocopter now being picked up? I mean, I like these picks better because they can actually fight and put pressure on LGD. And I feel like that's the only way they're going to have a shot, because I don't see LGD making the level of mistakes we saw to Rattlesnakes.
I like the Gyrocopter pick. I just hope that they don't put it... Was it Dreamz who put the Gyro in the aggressive with the Silencer and the Rubik?
I didn't see that game, so it must
sorry.
have been.
I think so. So
I should have been watching it.
Like,
I was trying to sort out some tech issues.
I mean, if you do that again, like, you can't gimp the Gyro. It's just not going to work. And they picked up a Meg. I really hope that's not an off-lane Meg.
Oh, I mean, it could be a solo mid-mag for Polisson. That's how they normally play it.
It really looks like it's just going to be defensive tri lane versus defensive tri lane right now, with a Meg mid versus whatever LGD probably picks up now, actually.
And, I mean, what is LGD going to go for here? Shadow Demon's picked up, Anti-Mage picked up. They don't have a solo yet.